Oh, God.
Quit whining.
Let's do this.
Alright, let's go. Hey guys, Shane, we're monkeying around.
Look at the screen when you talk to us. Okay? Look right there. They ain't on that. Look right there.
Ugh.
Anytime.
Hey guys, Shane, we're monkeying around.
I'm Kevin, the Wonder Electrician.
And it's Wonder Monkey. Time to talk about, last week, what did we talk about?
Getting your maps and stuff. Find out where you're going to put the...
Well, like how to get the setup. Figure out where you're going.
Because I'm obviously wrong. Didn't I just say that?
No, that ain't what you just said. What did we talk about last week? Did you not watch the video?
Nah, I just edited it. Just put out whatever was on there. Last week we talked about how to find where you're going, do your research, figure out where you're going to be so you don't end up out there having problems. So,
and different ways to get that information.
Yeah.
Outfitters, websites, where to look up and get water level information.
I guess that'd be how to plan your trip.
Yeah, kind of how to plan your trip. But now, the next thing, kind of tied into that we need to talk about is your boat and what you're going to take. And that's a huge part of it. I can tell you from, quit laughing.
I'm just thinking back, anyone who hasn't seen your new boat is going to look at your old boat and be like, wow.
And that's exactly right. When we did our New River trip this summer, I took a 12-foot Old Town and Kevin took a 14-foot Tsunami.
I put a good shot right about here of all that.
And he had a rudder, I didn't. He had more storage space, I didn't. He had a just a faster boat all around compared to mine. So therefore, a lot of times during that trip, he spent time on the radio. Hey, you still back there?
Yeah.
Hey, you still back there? Because I tend, a good portion of the trip, I tended to stay back behind him for the most part. And that was without any flips. So even when I wasn't flipping, I was still behind him.
Yeah.
Because he could just flow down the river and with his feet steer his boat with his rudder, where I couldn't do that. I was paddling the whole time. So, I got more tired, I would say, than he did. And because I was exerting more energy.
I got tired of waiting.
And see, it's
comments like that, right? It's comments like that.
Comments like that, I'm gonna knock you out one of these days.
It's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna hit him in the head with a kayak paddle. But so as soon as I finished up that trip, I started shopping around for a different boat. Because when we compared the two going down the river, there was really no comparison. I mean, there truly wasn't. If you're going to do a long distance kayak camp where you're putting in 60, 70, 80, 90 miles over several days, and you don't want to be just completely exhausted when you hit camp, you have to steer away from a recreational kayak and get more toward the touring side of a kayak, which
you can do it on a tour or on a wrecked kayak. But
you can,
but you're not gonna.
I've did a couple of trips. I did it on a. I've done a long distance. Well, I would say kind of a long distance in a Pelican. I've done it in an Old Town. I've done it 10-foot kayak, a 12-foot kayak, and then my 14 and a half.
Right.
Foot kayak. So.
Well, you can look back at the videos, and I'll see if I can't put some screenshots up here of the two kayaks going down, and you'll see that his Old Town, which was a 12-footer, he had storage in the back, and that was the only dry storage he has. So with that one you'll look and he has dry bags stacked up on top of it and all that, and then you'll see mine, which the only thing on top of mine was my water bladder.
Yeah.
And the only reason that was on there was just to
Convenience to get to it.
Yeah, I mean, it made it, you saw it have to shove it down the hole. And I actually had room still in my holes. I mean, I could have put more in there, but I didn't need to stack anything on top of there.
And I couldn't. I was slammed complete. I mean, but now when we did our most recent trip and I took my 14-foot kayak, I was good to go. I had everything stuffed inside. I had room inside. The only thing that I had on the top was a water bladder for convenience, and then my deck bag, because I have a deck bag, you don't.
No.
But I just like it. A deck bag so I can stick, just a couple things in it, some Slim Jims, beef jerky, something for a snack during the day, anything that I might need during the day. I put my fishing stuff in it. So you figured out your trip. You've figured out how many miles you're going to go. You've talked to outfitters, searched the web, figured out where you're going to camp, where you're going, that kind of thing. Then you got to kind of figure out how many miles can you comfortably do in a day. And a lot of that depends how fast the river is.
It's going to depend on the water levels, the river, your paddling style, what you want to do, and a lot of it comes down to paddling style. His paddling style and my paddling style aren't the same. I'm about making miles and seeing how far that I can go and stuff, which kind of cuts out a lot of the scenic parts for me. But
so on styles of paddling, I'm the kind of guy that I like to slow down and kind of explore. I would much rather put in 15 miles in a single day and be able to stop and get out and see something neat and go check it out and do that kind of thing versus, just rolling into camp and have knocked out 25 miles in a day. The longest, paddle we did that on our big trip this summer was 21 miles. And that was a lot of paddling.
That was a lot of paddling because of the water conditions. That's the New River trip, which the water was very low. And we ended up dragging a lot, not actually getting out and having to walk them or anything, just dragging across the rocks, pushing yourself across, things like that. So
having to do a little scooching.
Yeah, doing a lot of scooching actually. But and that might mean that we have to, cross the entire river to find the one spot to go through after you've already crossed just a second before to
get on the other side.
Get on the other side. So you're constantly crisscrossing back across the river. So that eats up a lot of the time. So 21 miles really probably could have been about 30 on a nice straight flowing river.
On something with a good water level.
Yeah.
We could have easily knocked out 30 that day.
Yeah, I mean, you took if you take the Yakin River on a good flow day, then, with the tsunamis, I mean, you can knock out 30 miles with no sweat.
And a lot of it depends on how much you want to paddle.
Yeah. Whether you want to
float. Do you want to spend 10 hours on the river? Do you want to spend 8 hours on the river? Do you want to spend 12 hours on the river? How much do you want to paddle?
But back to the boats, we're going to go back to, we've done trips and we've, like when we did the Get Your Paddles Wet trip on the Yakin, most everyone, so you had your Old Town.
I had an Old Town.
I was in the Tsunami. And everyone else was in wreck boats.
Yeah, we had a couple of Perceptions.
Which we had this Perception right here, which is my wife's, that's Perception Rhythm, is 11-footer.
We had a Perception Swifty.
And which, it is a quick kayak. I mean, it actually does real well. It has no rudder. And it does have the dry storage in the back, which you can see right there. And, of course, some deck strapping and stuff like that. So with that, you can do an overnight trip. I mean, you can do that was a 2-day trip, or a 3-day trip.
3-day trip, 2 nights.
And she had no problem. Now, I did carry a little bit of small things for her in my kayak because I had plenty of room in mine. But and that works, and she's real good at handling that. Now, you look at the one right above it. This is my other kayak from before the Tsunami. That's a Old Town Loon, Old Town Loon 111. Same size kayak, way slower, and I mean, it's a good kayak. It's just not as fast as hers, not as maneuverable as hers, has a real deep keel, so when you go to try to maneuver it around, and you're going to fight it a lot. But it has no dry storage. It has room in the back and the front, in front of the front foot pegs, has room behind the seat. And but if you're going to hit any kind of rough water and you think you're going to get wet, then that's not the boat to. That one will nosedive through a rapid. Check out one of my videos, and it actually goes down through it. Now, it stayed up that time, but on the same style rapid, another friend that has the same boat, she nosedived down through there and just went under, because it just comes over the top, and it's got such a big cockpit, and it doesn't have that bulbous front on it, so it just goes right in. But that works for a good day trip, and you could probably do it for an overnight, but you're going to be limited on what you can do. We've got up there on the far side, you can see the Pelican Boost. That's a sit on top, which has not had very much action in a long time.
Yeah, we don't sit on top anymore.
Yeah. Shane doesn't like to sit on top. He leaves from the beach straight into the water. Never gets that blade wet. But sit on top, you can go that route if you want. Just keep in mind you don't have a whole lot of dry storage, at least not in a 10-footer. I'm not on a low end, so you probably that's going to be up to you as to what you want to do. It's a very stable boat, but it's not going to probably be a very good long distance boat. That one right there is going to be slow, and you're going to be limited to. If you want to take overnight and you only want to do about 10, 12 miles, that's fine. It's going to get you there just fine. But if you want to make 20 miles a day, that's not the boat for you. It's just not going to. You're going to be wore out by that. I did 9.5 miles in one day on that one, and with no flow, and it was just, it was a horrible workout. So I mean, it's going to come down to how far you want to go as to what kind of boat you're going to want to use. The Tsunami, obviously, for me, has been perfect. I mean,
that's kind of a good, almost, I don't know if you call it a touring kayak.
I think
it's almost there as far as a touring kayak goes. But it's still just a good boat. Yeah. You've got storage in the front. I actually did a review on mine not too long ago. Check out the video on my channel, Monkeying Around. But you got storage in the front, storage in the back. And it's just a good tracking boat. I think the seat is very comfortable. You've got just tons of room front, back. It's got, rigging on the deck so you can throw something else up there. But it all boils down to you kind of got to do a little research. Are you trying to knock out a multiple day trip with lots of miles? Are you trying to do just a couple of days with a few miles? Because what you take gear wise is different on a 4-day trip versus a 2-day trip. I mean, we took the same boat. Kevin took the same boat on the New River trip that he did on the trip we did with the River Kings, and he took less gear on the River Kings trip than he did on the New River, because we were on the river for 2 days versus 4, and that's kind of the difference. So you kind of got to do a little research, and then a lot of it boils down to what are you comfortable with. Do you like a sit on top? Do you like a sit in? Me personally, the Wilderness Systems cockpit, I like a bigger cockpit because it gives me some room to move around. The Wilderness Systems is about the smallest I would want to go. On my Tsunami, I wouldn't want to go anywhere smaller on a cockpit size. But I'm a bigger fella, so I need a little more room. And from time to time, I take my kids on my trip. So I want them to be able to sit in the cockpit with me and have room. So you kind of got to do a little research on your own and figure out what boat is perfect for you.
And now talking about that, we'll go to the key thing that the first boat you buy is not going to be your last boat. And as a matter of fact, the first boat that you buy, I would not go buy a new boat. I would not dump a whole lot of money into the first boat.
No, shop used.
Yeah, shop used, find what's cheap, because the Pelican sit on top up there was my first boat. And that's what I thought I wanted, was a sit on top. Once I got the loom that's behind me here, I had no use for that one anymore. It was too slow. It wasn't the style I like. There's no, you're just sitting on top of Well, sit on top of a barge, basically.
We'll hook up with an outfitter too, because a lot of those
Yeah, try something out.
stores, there's 2 stores within about an hour of us, 2 big kayaking stores, and both of them offer the ability to
rent one, or
to rent a
not
kayak.
really rent. You're more loaning a kayak.
You just kind of borrowing it for a couple of days. Take it out, do a trip, and just see what you like, what's comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, some people love to sit on top. Some people swear by it. And
Yeah.
if you don't like being down in the hole, or if you have any kind of problem getting in and out of a kayak, that's the kayak to go with, because you can roll off the thing. I mean, you've done it.
I've rolled off of all of them.
But you know, that's a good open thing. If you're going to do on a lake or something, you're not paddling very far. That, you know, or if you do a lot of fishing, I mean, people swear by them for fishing, and I honestly think that's probably a better fishing kayak. But you know, you can fish off of anything actually, but that just has a lot more options for fishing. I guess you can stand up on them, do whatever you need. But for me, once I got the sit in, I never looked back at the sit on top. And then I got the loon that's right back here, and it was a great boat for a while until I realized that I wanted to do more camping and be able to be gone longer and take longer trips and stuff, which led me to get the Tsunami, and now that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then my wife's perception down here, she's been through, she had to sit on top, then she had an Old Town Otter, and now she has that. She loves this. But, you know, that took 3 kayaks to get what she wants. So I think you've been through about 3, right?
I'm on my 4th one. And I've kept my Old Town, because that's still a good day trip boat. Nothing wrong with that at all, you know. But to kind of sum up, I guess, what we've been just rambling on
Let's
about.
wrap this up.
Yeah.
Wrap it up, guys. It's like, golly, you're just talking.
You've got your trip planned. You know where you want to go. You've talked to some outfitters. You've got your water level. You've got your date set. How many miles are you going to do? How long are you going to stay on the river? A lot of that will kind of help determine what kind of boat you want to go. Now look at one of my videos on my Pelican. I actually cut a hole in the back of it to give me more space. So don't think that just because you want to do a 3 or 4 day trip on the river that you can only do it in a 14-foot boat.
Yeah, because the boost right up here, the sit on top,
You can do it in any.
it had no storage spots in it. And actually, you can check out my video on that one, and you can see where I added it's got the front hatch, and you can actually take when you open that, it's got a little catch basin there, but you can take that out, and you can actually shove as much as you want inside of the kayak. So it still has room. It's just you have to be a little more creative with it.
And keep in mind that just because a boat has a 250, 300 pound weight capacity doesn't mean if you put 251 pounds in it that it's going to sink.
It's going to change the characteristics of how it floats.
How it handles and how it goes down the river. That said,
if it's a 250 pound boat, do not put 500 pounds in it.
Well, no.
You need to stay close. You can actually see on Shane's Old Town that he had, where way down, his was pushing that limit to where he had absolutely no variations in the side before water started coming up in there. So when he rocked a little bit, he would take on a little bit of water.
Yeah, because I was setting low in the water. So, but anyway, if you got a question, hey, ask us. We'll give you as best of an answer we can give.
If it's a good enough question, you'll probably get a video about it.
Yeah, we might.
And
leave us a question, because leave us a comment. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you like, you don't like, what you think's right, what you think's wrong with the video, and you know.
If you don't like it, you can let us know you don't like it.
Hey, tell us you don't like it.
You're still watching it.
We all about it. But yeah, like and subscribe. Go check out our website, wonderingmonkey.com, thewonderingmonkey.com, sorry. And make sure to stay tuned. Every Sunday we do our gear pick. Gear pick of the week pops up every Sunday. It's going to come out, so you'll be able to see just kind of some ideas we have on kayak camping on a budget. So check that out, and
share the video, get that out there.
Yeah,
help us grow a little bit, and let it. Yeah, that shows us kind of that we're doing something somebody likes. I know we've got a lot of good response from
so far
kayak and canoe.
Kayak and canoe camping on Facebook.
Facebook.
That's a good page. There's a lot of they have like 14,000 members.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good.
And they comment a lot.
Opinions.
So if you have a question, I'm telling you, if you put a question on there within 5 minutes, you'll have 10 comments back on it.
Easy. Same thing with Yackers Galore. That's
Yeah.
a good one. There's a lot of people out there talking about it on Facebook. So you got a question? Throw it on Facebook. Send it to us. You know, we'll get you an answer. We'll ask Facebook. Check us out, thewondermonkey.com, monkeying around, the Wonder Electrician, and give us a thumbs up. Go get your paddles wet.
Like and subscribe. Get the peanut butter jar? I mean, what you want me to say?
No, that's good.